Welcome to PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. I'm joined today by Janine Gagliardi.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm feeling froggy. There's a lot of clatter in the background there.
We are recording in a restaurant.
Yeah. Sorry, my new restaurant opened tonight, so I'm a little busy at the moment.
No.
Never too busy for PCMC.
We sat down to record, and Janine was like, boy, and then Bill came in, and she was like, I would like decaf coffee chilled, please.
No, I didn't specify chilled. I expected him to know by reading my mind. And then he prepared a hot.
It's
and
so
I
hard to
threw it in
find
his face.
help.
Oh my God. Wow.
So
So I was just presented with a hot coffee and a cold coffee. Thank you, sir. Do you want it? Did you put cinnamon in? Why does it look like cinnamon?
I don't know.
What happened?
I'm not throwing this out.
Okay.
What happened?
Oh. It's
Oh.
coffee grinds in the
Oh,
coffee.
no.
You really need to train him better. Coffee grinds in the coffee?
Oh, my God.
Are you serious?
Please. He's
How
not
about
gonna
you have
la-
one
he's-
job when you make coffee?
He's not going to last long. I'll tell you that.
Oh, there's nothing like your first marriage. All right, so I got a case of the sillies today. I took a nap. You ever like take a nap and you're like, this nap ain't happening,
Not for you.
and then like, all right, you got kids.
Your brother will say things to me like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I took a 6-hour nap after work. And I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Listen, we're all on our own journeys.
we are all on our own journeys. Well, anyway, I took a nap and I feel great.
You feel good? Okay.
Um,
I'm glad.
so
I
this
had
is-
like a half a glass of wine before you got here, so
now
I'm feeling good too.
from wine to decaf coffee.
Listen, I'm all over the map.
All right,
You
whatever
got,
you
gotta
need.
try and keep up.
So,
It's gonna be a wild set of
I know.
episodes.
so we haven't done a full episode in a long time.
Mm-mm.
This year has been, I'll say it, a prolific year for this podcast.
Mhm.
The library that has been built of topics is myriad
Mhm.
and varied in terms of, you know, people's
People's interests.
yeah,
all over
it's
the
all
pop
over
culture
the place.
map. Yeah,
It's
definitely.
all over the place. But you know, there's some trailers to look at. There's some news to talk about, and you know, it's fun to do a full.
Let's do it. I'm excited. We haven't done one in a while. I'm happy to be back on board.
I am glad. So let's go into the news.
What?
There's a new Garbage Pail Kids animated series coming.
Interesting.
It's going to HBOMax, and it's made by Danny McBride
What?
and David Gordon Green, they made comedy stuff together, and
Okay.
then they made like Eastbound and Down and
Yeah.
The Foot Fist Way, and
Okay.
then they made a weird left turn when they were like, we want to reboot Halloween, and then they rebooted Halloween.
Rebooted
Yeah,
Halloween?
Danny McBride co-wrote the new Halloween, which there's 2 more of those coming out.
Is it? Oh, right. We went over this at once.
Right, Halloween Kills is the next one, and then Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
And then, but now what they're doing is a Garbage Pail Kids animated series.
Okay.
This is actually the second attempt at this.
Okay.
There was a Garbage Pail Kids animated series in the 80s. I think it did not last very long.
Were they
Parents didn't
trading
like it.
cards?
Yes, they were trading cards.
They started as trading cards.
Yeah, and they were, aesthetically, they were based on
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Cabbage Patch Kids.
Okay.
But it was all like puns, like, you know, Toilet Timmy or whatever. Like, it was all shit like that. And it was just, they were gross. Parents did not like them. This was like the kind of beginning of the slime, gross 80s thing. So the series did not last long. There was a live action movie, which, if you haven't seen it, you can find almost all of it on YouTube. It is frightening. It's one of the least successful movies of all time. I think it didn't like last a week or something.
Wow.
It was
in
pulled-
theaters. It
yeah.
was pulled. Okay.
And there's musical numbers. It's insane that it even happened, and it's just terrible. Anyway,
man.
so they're doing this again.
Let's bring them back.
But I think that's you know, look, as a 37-year-old, almost 38-year-old who grew up in the 80s, I do have a certain nostalgia for Garbage Pail Kids.
Okay. I have none.
Okay.
I missed it completely. Like, I'm only peripherally aware of it.
I'm trying to think
like,
of,
as a cultural thing.
I can't think of a good analog to it. Because it's not like
it starts
Pokemon,
as,
because
like,
it's not a
parody.
game.
Yeah, and it's just trading cards.
It's just trading cards. It's just.
Were they a line of toys as well?
I think they were They weren't figures, but they were
Okay.
probably like some other kind of toys eventually. It was just kind of like
Right,
gross.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be Pokemon because you didn't play it. Pogs you played.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. of
Maybe a
anything.
little bit Poggy.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people didn't play Pogs. They just
collected them. Yeah.
It was a collecting kind of thing. And it was a kind of like transgressive for children way of like, this is gross.
Right. Or like, I'm not a baby anymore. I don't play with Cabbage Patch Kids. I have, garbage Pail Kids.
Right. And they're garbage. It says it right there. They are garbage Pail Kids. They're gross garbage people. And
what was the animated series like?
I don't know too much about it. It was, if I'm remembering correctly, it was your typical Saturday morning cash-in.
Okay. Sure.
I don't think it was blowing any minds.
What was successful enough for them to create a movie? Were the trading cards so successful? They were. Okay.
They made. They were originally done by Topps, and Topps is known mostly for baseball cards, which has its audience, but it's also limited. And Topps was always looking for something outside of that.
Okay.
And there were a few things like Star Wars cards in the early 80s was successful. Okay. But this was like huge for kids that didn't like baseball cards.
Oh my God. Were they like homies?
Yeah, they are like homies.
Okay.
But made a lot more money.
Okay.
Yeah, they are like homies.
Okay. Because you did nothing with them. You just collected them.
Did you ever see like the Vice mini documentary about homies?
No, but Bill has to watch it because he had an extensive collection of homies.
Every time I think I know Bill, I find out about his homies collection.
He zigs and zags.
Yeah.
I think Jen said something about having homies. Like she had a bunch of homies.
No, she was just talking about her friends. It was successful. Well, I don't know. I like their comedies. I didn't like their Halloween movie.
Okay. Danny McBride. Okay, yeah, because looping back to this aspect of it.
But it's also HBOMax, too.
Is it a cartoon?
Oh, it is.
Okay.
And HBOMax, which I think is doing good things, I think that affords you the ability to, like, push it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do the Saturday morning version of it. I hope that it goes with a Saturday morning aesthetic.
Yeah, but
it should be gross and horrible.
Yeah. I'd give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love animation, and I know you do too.
I do,
so
really
I'll definitely like give it a shot. I watched a couple episodes of Harley Quinn, which I liked. I just didn't keep going.
Same. I texted you that we watched like the first 2 or 3.
Yeah.
2, I think, and loved it.
Yeah.
Didn't go back.
And what's his name?
I will go back, I think.
Yeah, eventually.
But it's just one of those things where I'm like, oh, okay.
Alan Tudyk as the Joker was brilliant.
Great.
Yeah, I haven't gone back to it either.
He's extremely funny.
Yeah. So what else is in the news?
It's gratuitous, but it's very, very funny. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gratuitous. But it should be.
It should. Yeah.
And I think when you have a world where it's gratuitous and like it's as violent as it would really be, it's great because it makes Batman just like this weird stuffy like what's your weird thing? Like you're so weird, dude.
Yeah, like in this world of weirdos, he's actually the weird one.
And that clip that I forget where I saw it, where he finds out that Batman is Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah,
and he's like,
he's
like,
sad.
you ruined it. Like
you ruined the whole thing that we have.
We have this whole mysterious. Don't you think I could have done that? We have this whole mysterious thing. Now I know it's just some
whatever
rich asshole.
Yeah. Where's my car, Bruce? It's great.
Which is funny because that's what would. Not that there's anything realistic about it, but that's what the Joker would say. Like, it's Bruce Wayne. It's just some rich asshole.
It's like Elon Musk, basically, right? Like he's acting like, "Where's my Tesla?"
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So, in very, very similar news, and this is something that actually was first reported last summer, but I totally missed it, and now it's getting re-reported. Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who are another team that write comedy movies, they are making a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated film.
Wow, okay. So totally animated?
Totally animated.
Okay.
And a film.
Okay.
And
so not at all related to the Michael Bay stuff.
No.
Okay.
No. Or the animated film before the Michael Bay or the original films. There's also been like 1, four series. We've gotten to the point.
Oh, yeah, it's always in the
rebooting,
cultural milieu.
Right,
yeah.
rebooting is essential to the series.
This process, yeah.
Because it's a very simple, high concept. It's right there in the title, and
yeah, that's it. It tells you everything you need to know.
It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It comes out. I guess what brought it back into the news this week is that it now has a date. It's coming out on August 11th, 2023.
23,
yeah.
Okay.
And he also, in an interview, Seth Rogen said, I always feel like they didn't enough lean into the teenage part of it.
Okay.
And it's a teen comedy.
That's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, they were always teenaged, but they acted like young adults, right? Like right. I say young adults, but I don't mean YA. I mean like 20s, like
right. The
people in their 20s.
I feel like the teenness.
It's like they like pizza.
Yeah, like it began and ended with pizza. Mm-hmm. Or Michelangelo's the only one that was really teen-esque because he was sort of like a surfer kind of dude.
Yeah, he's a party dude,
right? And
as they say in the theme song.
Yeah, and Raphael was cool but rude, and so he was kind of angsty.
Yeah, but they were capable of decision making that I feel like teenagers weren't.
Right. Well, that's the turtle in them.
I guess.
In the original comic, or at least in the original arc, they're very not teen at all. They're they're very like Japanese stereotype. Like they're very terse and very like it really leans into the ninja thing.
Okay.
And then they found more levity. Although the whole thing, it's hard to describe the origins of the series because people go, oh, it was so gritty, and that's only because it was printed in black and white, and that was because they had no money. It was always tongue-in-cheek. They always knew this is a ridiculous idea. It began as a joke. It began as a doodle that one of them made and then gave to his friend. It was like, look at this, it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, and he was like, I want to draw one. and then it became what made them millionaires. You know, a couple episodes ago we did Best Fights.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the CGI animated film that came out about 3 or 4 years before the first Michael Bay film? It kind of came and went very quickly. This was the movie, and it was only a movie, not a series tied into it. Well, anyway, that movie has a fight between Leonardo and Raphael, which was like what you always wanted to see.
Yeah, there were always there's always tension,
and it's in the rain. It's a really good fucking fight.
Okay, yeah. Check that out. Now, I always go by their weapon, and it's what's that? Sais and katana.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm as a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and as somebody who I like, I'd say a good 65% of Seth Rogen's output.
Okay.
You know, I think some of his movies are not good, but I think a lot of them are good.
He's branching out lately. He's got Houseplant. He's got a ceramics business.
Yeah.
He's doing all kinds of things.
So I'm down. More Ninja Turtles is good with me. What's your relationship to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
I was a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan as a kid, which is funny because like I tend to take a back seat in these conversations because I don't really remember anything. Like it didn't exceed my childhood, and I mean like young childhood, like kindergarten. You know, I remember like I love Michelangelo. He likes pizza. You know, that's what I liked about it.
Right.
Like very simple things. But I look at childhood pictures. I'm wearing Ninja Turtles t-shirts.
Yeah.
I still I can find like memorabilia in this house of like stuff that I had that had Ninja Turtles on it. So I was a big enough fan that like my parents got you stuff. Never action figures. I never had action figures or any.
Oh, you really never? The figures were big. For me, and I would even say a lot of people my age, the figures were the entree into it.
Yeah. I think it was because I am a girl or, you know, was a girl. I think
maybe I think
the fact that I'm wearing a hand brace because I use my thumb too much means that I can't legally be called a girl anymore. I think legally once you have a varicose vein you can't be called a girl anymore. But I think it was because I never received any action figures of anything. Like I was a really big Power Rangers fan. I never got an action figure.
Did you ever own any action figures?
Never owned an action figure. No one. I mean, I had no capital, right? So I had no way of buying it for myself. So,
but as a child.
So I'm so young. I have no money, as John Mulaney would say. So you can imagine how stressed I am. Nobody bought one for me, like ever. I never got.
That makes me so sad because it's such a big part of my life then and now.
Yeah, and I think I mean I'm sure I would have played with them. I played with every doll or toy.
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
got.
The Ninja Turtles toys are awesome, and they also changed the design of the turtles at that time because the turtles in the comic had tails, and then when they made the figures,
right,
it looked like little penises.
Yeah, maybe that's why they didn't want me to have it.
And they were like, "No, get rid of this." Yeah,
but it's funny because I used to play Power Rangers with my dolls. No, that's not true. I had a Barbie. I had a Pink Ranger Barbie.
So you got the
I got the
lady version,
yeah,
or what they would have considered,
Yeah.
All right. Next week, Indiana Jones 5 starts filming in the UK. Something that's finally happening, and who's in? There's a lot of interesting
Phoebe
people in it.
Waller-Bridge there.
Yeah, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Renee Wilson, Thomas Kretschmann. I don't know what the fuck that is.
What's the story?
And it's James Mangold as the director.
Who's that?
He directed. Well, his first big thing was Copland with De Niro and Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
But then he did like all the Wolverine movies, including Logan.
Oh, okay.
He's good.
Okay.
He doesn't. He's like kind of
I've
a journeyman
seen, the
director.
First 20 minutes of Logan.
I thought Logan was really good.
Why didn't we continue watching it? I feel like whatever method we were using to watch it, it was not reliable, and we couldn't get through the rest of it. But like, it was interesting. I'd love to see it in its entirety. But okay, that's cool. I've heard great things about that movie. So what's the story with this Indiana Jones adventure?
I don't know.
I know Harrison Ford is like the world's biggest grump.
Yeah.
And he loves Indiana Jones. We'll do an Indiana Jones any day of the damn week.
I think he loves money.
But it was hard to get him back to Star Wars. It's like he didn't care about that character.
It wasn't as hard as it would have been 10 years earlier.
Well, he crashed a couple of planes. So he had a bunch of lawsuits, I'm sure, he had to pay off.
Right. Like, I know when... did I tell this story? I don't know. I know that like when Mark Hamill read for it, he was like, "I'll say yes," because Harrison Ford's never going to say yes. So I'll sign on, fine, but it's never going to happen. And or you're going to have to change the script. And then he was like, "Wow, he really said yes." He also did. He also did another Blade Runner. He did He did Indiana Jones 4 not that long ago. Right? 2009 or something?
I'll always remember this like Barbara Walters interview with him where she was like Han Solo or Indiana Jones. And he was like, Indiana Jones in a New York minute. He's like, I do in a second. He's like, I don't really care about Han Solo.
He really doesn't.
He really doesn't. And I would argue it's a better character.
Yeah, Han Solo is a better character.
I'm just like...
there's more facets to Indiana Jones, I guess.
guess.
But it's less of a fun world for him to play around in, I think.
Yeah, I guess so. Those movies,
Yeah, I mean...
For some...
On one of the...
I know, like, nuking the fridge has become...
Right. On our first Hot Takes episode, I said...
None of them are good.
No, I said that my favorites are the ones everyone hates.
Yeah.
No, my favorite is Temple of Doom.
Okay.
It's so insane. I love it. And then because of that, I like 4. People seem to want from Indiana Jones something different from what I want from it. And
okay,
I think that's the thing. People love the first one, which I like the first one, and people love the third one because they're a little bit more grounded. I mean, they're still got a lot of magical shit.
The third is actually my favorite. I like the third one very much.
Grounded. Third one's just really snappy, and it's cool to have his dad in it. But my favorite is Temple of Doom, even though, it is totally problematic in a ton of ways. But there's that whole end where he's got his shirt off. And he's like on Donkey Kong Country, like it's fucking awesome. It's incredible.
It's a weird trilogy. I mean, prior to the fourth and...
Right. Because it's not. It's just more.
It's just anthologies,
right?
Yeah,
just here's more shit.
Yeah.
Here's this guy doing stuff.
Well, it's that thing you sent me about, like, why is it so difficult to end a trilogy, and he doesn't count Indiana Jones.
Oh, right.
For that reason.
Patrick Willems essay.
Who is Patrick Willems, by the way? We can cut this, but...
I only got into him within the last year. He does... I don't know what else he does, but he does cinema essays, and some of them are really good.
They're really good.
Did you see the one on...
The Gonzo cinema?
Whatever happened to Kevin Smith?
No.
I
only watched the ones you sent me, so...
Oh, it's really good. You got to look at that one.
All right.
He does really good... He also did a really interesting one where he went through every one of He went through every one of Francis Ford Coppola's films, coupled with the wine from Francis Ford Coppola's wine club. So he'd be like, I coupled this movie with this wine, and so it's really interesting.
Jack, what went with Jack?
Yeah. Oh God. So yeah, I mean, this is news because I feel like it's nerdy news, but I don't know how much I don't know what I would even expect from such a movie. I don't know. It's like at this point, he is, not to be ageist, but he's quite an older man.
He is old.
10 years ago when he made 4, people were
10 years. Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he's into
physically
this.
Capable of doing these things. Yeah.
Do you think they're just going to completely ignore the passing of the torch that they tried in the last movie?
With
just
Shia
like
LaBeouf,
to bring that torch right back.
You give it back to me.
Give me the torch back. Because
Well,
Shia LaBeouf was his son.
Yeah, with Marion Ravenswood,
Yeah,
right?
Mutt. Oh, Mutt?
I don't think his
I thought
name
it was
Mud.
I thought it was Mud. Like,
just real quick gonna look that up because I don't think anyone's name is Mud.
I thought it was.
It was Mutt, right?
I think Mutt is the dog person from Spaceballs. No, that's Barf. Yeah.
Okay. Mutt.
M-U-T-T.
Mutt Williams.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's not in it. So maybe they'll mention him. Right? Like, oh, he died tragically.
He died.
Oh, he died in that car accident. That's too bad.
That Mutt slide.
What was it? Well, you know, with him, they were trying to do. They thought like we could recapture what we did with Sean Connery in the last one, and that didn't work. Although it's not his fault. I'm somebody who actually likes Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He's not hurt me. I don't know what people think he owes them. You know what I mean? I don't like most of his movies, but I don't think he's like I don't know. Piece of shit.
I think it's just because he does like weird stuff. Well, what I mean by that is like his projects. I won't respond to that. Oh my God!
You woke Siri up.
She won't have the good name of Shia LaBeouf besmirched. She won't respond to that.
I will not.
She's not going to engage on that. No, what I mean by
I do not understand it, and I will not react to it.
I mean, like, weird stuff is like when he shows up on red carpets with a paper bag on his head, or like watches all his own movies with like a camera in his face so you can see
the
his
art projects and stuff,
or like the anti-Trump display where he would just like stand in the street.
Yeah,
just strange. But he also like apparently battered his girlfriends.
Oh, did he?
And has had a lot of substance abuse issues, which is fine as long as you're not like battering your girlfriends.
Right.
So
the violence is not good, and I wouldn't support that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
But as an actor, I think he's fine.
He's all right.
You know, I'd like to see the Peanut Butter Falcon. It sounds like a good one.
I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't like it? Okay. All right.
Do you want to go to Trailer Corner?
Yes. Let's do it.
Okay. So the first trailer we looked at is the movie Old.
Okay.
This is a movie by M. Night Shyamalan.
Mm-hmm. You all right?
I have a hypothesis.
Okay.
I think M. Night Shyamalan may be like a supervillain, and he has dirt on every major player in Hollywood.
Okay.
And can blackmail anyone into oblivion. And because of his secret file of dirt on everybody in Hollywood, he's allowed to continue making films. Because I can't think of any other hypothesis that makes more sense than that.
Well, he went away for a while after Avatar.
Well, no, he did Split, and then he did.
No, but he took a break. Like they didn't hire him for a little bit, and then he made the Grandma's House one.
Yeah, he's
Big Mama's House.
Things. No, that's not it.
And then he sort of got a little bit of credit back.
Right.
I feel like he's been, and then Split was good.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, we forgive you. And then Glass I didn't see. I don't know. Was it good?
No, haven't seen his movies.
Oh, it wasn't it? Okay. No, Split was good. And the Grandma's House one was fine. Like it was just, it was totally fine. And apparently he's nice.
Well, he seems nice, but does he
and like
make
that gets
money?
You far in this, I would say.
But he was sued, and I think they settled out of court. Some film student was like, 6 cents was my script.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. It's the best one he had.
It's yes.
He wrote the screenplay for this, but
That's allegedly. I don't know. I might be totally misremembering it.
It's not his story.
Old. It's stupid. It's a stupid story.
Did you read it?
No.
It's available for free online. It's based on this graphic novel. I read it this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's short. It's based on this graphic novel called Sandcastles by Pierre Oscar Levy.
Uh-huh.
I read the whole thing. If they do it the way the graphic novel goes, it kind of goes nowhere. It just serves as like a kind of a big metaphor for life.
Right. Well, M. Night Shyamalan is an auteur.
There's no twist that he's known for.
Right.
In the graphic novel anyway. It just kind of is. They have no answer.
Well, what's the story? Just from the trailer, tell us what the story is.
Okay, so from the trailer, and now I'm kind of like, I'm trying not to blend any details that I got from the graphic novel because I don't know how much it spoils or what it doesn't. It seems to follow pretty closely though. Like some of the shots are similar to the panels in the graphic novels. In the graphic novel, it's just it's like 112 pages. It's very short. So this family is on vacation. They go to a secluded beach with their 2 children. Mm-hmm. When they get there, turns out it's not that secluded. There's other couples there, families there. Kids are playing. Kids go out of sight. They come. They find a body.
Yeah.
And then kids come back, and they're older. They're older. Like significantly older. Like they were 6 this morning, and now they're 13 or 14 or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. They have wrinkles. Now the parents have wrinkles.
Right.
One girl is pregnant.
And it looks like the baby is growing in her. Like
at the moment, it looks like her stomach is moving.
Yeah.
And they can't get out.
A lot of like actors in their 20s, like, Mom, it's me.
Yeah. And then, but the adults aren't really aging that rapidly.
Not that much.
So, I guess it's because at a certain point in your life, you kind of look the same from 30 to 40. Like, unless something's happened to you, it's just sort of like maybe you have a few more wrinkles.
And doesn't some. Well, I don't know.
But it looks like they're trying to like get. There's like a cave.
And
it looks like.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a ticking clock because you'll eventually turn to dust. I guess.
Yeah, you'll just be so old. Oh yeah, they find like a cache of objects that people have left behind, like phones and abandoned
That's in the trailer.
Sunglasses and stuff. So it looks like it's happened before. My theory prior to reading the graphic novel was that like this beach was like a Venus flytrap kind of, where like it trapped you and then you couldn't get out until it like diminished all of your life.
Okay.
Right? So not having seen the movie, and that's not how it goes in the graphic novel. I don't know if that's right. There seems to be according to the graphic novel, there's like a force field that causes you to black out if you try to escape. So if they go the way they came, they pass out. I believe they're doing that in the movie because then I rewatched the trailer and one of the girls is climbing a ledge. Yeah. And they're like, wait, why is she stopping? Wait, oh no. Right. And then so it's like, does she black out at the top of the ledge and like fall back? Right. Possibly. I mean, I don't know if you want to spoil the graphic novel.
No, let's not. The boy.
I won't. Fine. It's been out since I think the 90s, but.
Has it really?
I think it's been out for a while.
Okay, so spoilers for Old, the graphic novel, and most likely also Old, the film.
Well, it's Sandcastles, the graphic novel.
Sandcastles.
Yeah.
So he's like, what's a worse title? I'm sorry. You can see and you can feel my
the animosity towards.
Yeah, the sort of unbridled rage. I don't like his movies. And it's almost like the way I feel about Zack Snyder, which is like, why? Why do you get to do this? You're not good at this thing.
I think some of his movies show. Well, I talked to you about The Village. Like, I think a lot of his movies start off very promising.
Oh, The Village.
And then they don't go ultimately anywhere.
No.
That's what this graphic novel kind of does. They never find out what's happening. They never find out why they can't leave. And they all die of old age.
What if the twist, right? Mm-hmm. M. Night Shyamalan walks onto screen, looks dead in the camera, and goes, "Fuck you. I got your chicken money.
I got it. You can't get it back.
Go fuck yourself."
That's it.
Hey, America, go fuck yourself. Credits roll.
That's it.
They just cut to directed by M. Night, a film by M. Night Shyamalan. Can you believe it? It's in print.
Can you believe this happened? What a twist.
Can you believe?
Was it Family Guy that always used to do that with M. Night Shyamalan? He just always. Oh no, maybe it was Robot Chicken.
It was Robot Chicken. What a twist. My favorite story of was he produced a movie called Devil, and when they screened the trailer, when it said from M. Night Shyamalan, audiences would laugh.
No.
And they had to cut his name out. He's sort of an auteur, but not an auteur, because one of the major things with auteurism in the business is it's a marketing tool. But they don't really market him, you know.
It's become a weakness, right?
Yeah.
Although now it became a strength again.
Right, because they're like from the director of Split, but they're not using his name.
We'll see how, I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll put his stamp on it because he wrote the screenplay, so I'm sure he'll.
You bet he did. You bet he did.
We'll see how it goes. It just serves as like a metaphor for life. It's like a microcosm for life, right? Because the opening panels of the graphic novel are, you see it's like a cove. It's not the open ocean. It's like a cove where water is fed into through like an underwater tunnel, and you can kind of see it in the trailer. They're like attempting to swim through the tunnel. The opening panels are like an overhead shot of the cove, and then the tunnel, which is like an oblong shape, and it just looks like a birth canal.
Oh boy!
Right,
okay.
and so that's it. It's just like, here's the vagina. Here we are in the cove. Bunch of people. Now they're growing old. They're having babies. They die. Yeah. That's it. That's the book.
So that's it. You spoiled
and you can't escape. you can't escape old age, right? Like something's gonna get you.
There's nothing to it.
There's nothing to it.
Maybe this would have been a good episode of Love, Death, and Robots.
Perhaps. It actually does remind me of an episode of Love, Death, and Robots.
Oops, I just threw my back out shrugging.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll see. Or won't see.
Yeah. By the way, if you're, look, this is just our opinions. If you love M. Night Shyamalan, and I've known people who do, that are like, ooh, there's a new M. Night Shyamalan movie coming out. And I'm like, what are you?
But you feel that way about me and like some of the Zack Snyder stuff, because I'm not fully on board.
It's like the way you feel about me and my love of Dr. Pepper. You don't get it or understand it or sanction it.
I'm like the dad in the Apple Jacks commercial. They don't even taste like apples.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like pepper.
Why the fuck did I even send you to school? You're such a waste of my DNA.
What DNA? I should have just came in a sock. And to connect this to the next trailer we're going to do, the little girl when she gets older is played by Thomasin McKenzie. And she's also in the next trailer, which is a movie that I'm interested in, which is Last Night in Soho.
Yeah. So Last Night in Soho is an Edgar Wright movie.
Right. And I've liked... Baby Driver was passable. I didn't love it. It was okay. But it wasn't bad. So I'd say that I didn't really love World's End. But you know what? For the most part, he's good.
I like World's End.
Yeah. He's never made a movie that I think is terrible.
Yeah.
And he's made a few that are really good. And this looks really good.
It looks very like a left turn for him.
Right. And it looks visually just stunning, just appallingly good.
Yeah.
It seems to be about a young woman played by the person we just talked about. Thomasin McKenzie.
Her name is Thomasin, which is not a common name.
Yeah.
And Anya Taylor-Joy is the other star of this movie, and she played a girl named Thomasin in The Witch.
Oh,
that's
her
character.
The Vivitch. Her name Thomasin McKenzie plays Eloise, and Eloise I think lives in our contemporary
in the city.
time.
Sorry, it's a children's book series.
I know.
Oh, you don't. You're a boy.
So, when she sleeps at night, she enters. What is it? The six? I think it's the 60s.
60s. Looks like the 60s.
It looks like the 60s.
It's like very Mad Men-esque.
Yeah, and she's not just entering the 60s. She's like embodying. Yes. She's in the body of Sandy, played by Anya Taylor-Joy. Like she looks in the mirror and it's Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah,
but she's like, it's interesting because you see her walking through the city,
right?
And she's in her pajamas,
and that shot's incredible because you see like the city, like Times Square in the 60s. So it's like all old movie posters and like what it looked like then. And it seems like this Sandy character was a lounge singer. Yeah. She was a performer. She seems to be having an affair with Matt Smith.
Yeah.
She's having fun. And this girl is enjoying living this
living
this
life.
alternate
When
life.
she goes to bed, she gets to be like this glamorous singer in the 1960s. But it's like one of those things where you see her, like her, in her pajamas.
Yeah.
And then she looks in the mirror and she is this other person in like a cocktail dress, like all done up. And she gets to walk through this life. It does seem like she's taking aspects of Sandy's life and incorporating them into hers. Like she seems to start dressing a little bit more like her. She dyes her hair to match hers.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it seems like Sandy might have been murdered at some point.
And it's kind of like who
murdered
these
Sandy,
people are murdered? Who murdered her?
Mm.
And maybe it's a case of like, can she in the future solve this cold case?
Yeah, but then stuff gets real crazy.
Right.
At the end of the trailer, like arms are flying out of the floor, things are coming through the window.
Thomasin McKenzie is like in her apartment and like she walks across the floor and like hands come out. So it's like there's some supernatural element here.
Yeah, like prior to this in the trailer, this only supernatural stuff is that she's like dreaming of this woman. And it could potentially still be a dream, like you don't know. It doesn't seem to have any basis in reality, but then stuff starts happening in her waking life that's extremely scary. And
the trailer ends with her like falling on the floor and a very 60s move where it's just a still image, like it goes from her moving to a still image of her mouth agape. And it reminded me a lot of the Roman Polanski movie Repulsion, which is about a woman in her apartment going mad. And like because you see like the image crack in both of these things. The story is whatever, I don't know what it is, but the thing that's arresting about the trailer, and if you haven't seen it, watch it, is its aesthetics. It looks really appealing. The 60s stuff looks really appealing. We were talking before off air. Anya Taylor-Joy, she's a good actress, but she's also
she's arresting. Like she's visually arresting. She's just a very striking looking person.
Right. She's all
I think
eyes
whether or not you
mouth.
find her attractive, I think she's just striking.
She's cinematically attractive. Her face is interesting to look at. And she looks, as we saw a little bit in Queen's Gambit, she looks great in 60s clothing. So it just looks gorgeous. I mean, it looks like it might be his prettiest movie since Scott Pilgrim. Because it really looks like, because he does get into the mise-en-scène and like really gets into the details of the composition and like really like, it's almost painterly. So I'm really interested in just seeing it in a theater.
Very stylish. Right?
Yes.
But it's funny with him, now that you mention it, like we were just talking about auteurs, I don't necessarily, like he does very visually interesting projects, but it's never the same. Like I'm or maybe I'm just not adept enough at looking at his films or maybe I just haven't looked at his films closely enough where I'm like, oh, that's an Edgar Wright signature.
Right. Well, I think I'm not a proponent of the auteur theory for a lot of reasons, and I've talked about this just in the last episode. I talked about it when I was talking about David Lynch. But I think one of the many problems with the auteur theory is part of building up your rep as an auteur is a certain amount of sameness. Like, you'll be an auteur, like Tim Burton's an auteur because he has made a lot of good and okay-ish movies that look alike.
Yeah.
Whereas Edgar Wright has made way more good movies than Tim Burton. And the only thing that they have in common is that they are beautifully composed, but they're not, you can't like look at, Shaun of the Dead and then look at Scott Pilgrim and go, oh yeah, that's the same guy.
Director, yeah. Well, Bill blew my mind earlier today and brought up that Danny DeVito has played a ringleader in a circus 3 times in a Tim Burton movie.
Right. Oh yeah.
Big Fish, the newest Dumbo. And the Penguin had a circus.
Right.
I was like, what the hell? He really
his
does
muse
the same
is Danny
thing
DeVito.
every single time.
Danny is his muse, and I get it.
I guess there's just things he lets the actors do. He wants Danny DeVito in a circus. He wants Helena Bonham Carter to have like a bird's nest on her head.
Right.
He wants Johnny Depp to be drunk.
Yeah. Side note on that Dumbo. It's not very good, but if there's one thing that's just fascinating about it is It's a Disney movie, but the villain seems like it's based on Disney. He seems like an evil Disney, and just to sneak that in is, I thought, really interesting.
Disney, yeah. Well, we were watching it early. Well, I actually watched none of it. I was cooking, but they were watching it in together, and we showed Henry the original Dumbo for the first time,
which is like the first half of this new movie.
Right. Well, not even, right?
Yeah.
So Dumbo, he gets his power of flight, and then the movie kind of ends like 5 minutes later.
There's not much.
It's over. But in this one, he has flight like pretty early on, and then it's kind of like, well, what happens after that? Like, who wants to buy him?
Right,
like,
exactly. It becomes this whole different thing.
It's like he's a commodity now.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And then of course it's evil, like Batman and the Penguin together again. Right. Michael Keaton shows up and he's Disney.
Right.
He's shouting this from the living room like, I think he's Disney. They're in Florida. He's like a billionaire. It's really strange.
He's all about making these alternative worlds and making these theme parks, and he's got the sort of Disney-esque charm. He's very, very Disney. He's very much channeling Disney. It's interesting for a film that's a Disney film.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, I think it doesn't work because I feel his aesthetic. I feel like the movie is depressing. And I don't know if Dumbo should be depressing.
Dumbo depresses me though. The
original one is a little depressing.
Depresses
too.
me.
Yeah.
So I guess it is depressing.
Yeah. But anyway,
I was sort of like, should we show it to Henry?
Yeah, let him. Life is hard.
I don't know. I know, right?
Oh, let him see
poor
it,
baby.
So yeah, I'm interested in this movie. It looks really, really good. And I like Matt Smith as a bad guy. He's played a bad guy a few times now, and I think he's good as a bad guy. So I'm interested. Also, we should say, I just remembered this. Things that happen to her in the dream come out, Freddy style. Like she wakes up and she has a hickey.
She's a hickey, right.
That she got while she was the other person. So yeah, I'm into it. The third trailer that we looked at was Reminiscence.
Yes.
Which falls into the category, it falls into the genre of films where Hugh Jackman is got shit on his head and he's sleeping in a bed of water and he wakes up upset. It's that genre.
I love that genre of film.
Right.
God, he's in so many of those, isn't he?
He has a cafe in the city.
Does he?
Yes. It's called Laughing Man, and Jen loves it. So we go every time we're in the city, but we call it Wolverbeans.
That's what they should have called it.
Exactly, which is why we call it Wolverbeans.
Wolverbeans, Laughing Man. Interesting.
It also has like organic dog food that like it says like good for people too, and like I've tried it. It's not bad. It's like cookies. It's pretty good. Wolverbeans. Look it up. They call it Laughing Man, but it's Wolverbeans.
It's called Wolverbeans.
Yeah, this is from I guess one of the producers of the Westworld show. It's the future.
It looks Westworldy.
Yeah, it's a world where it seems a little bit like the holodeck from Star Trek, which is a virtual reality program that people can go into and sometimes people get lost in. It seems like that's the vibe. Like he says something to the effect of like the world is terrible, so people really dive into nostalgia, which feels so true.
Okay, this reminded me of multiple things.
Right.
Like Inception.
Right.
Minority Report.
Yeah, it's very Philip K. Dick.
Yes. And I think it's the very first episode of Black Mirror, the entire history of you.
Yeah.
So it's like, except that's like much less involved. That's more like a phone. It's just implanted in your head and you can see all your memories at all the time. The thing that struck me about that was like when people are having sex in this world, like they just think of like their hottest memory and like it gets them there. Whereas in the movie Reminiscence, it seems like it's much more involved process to relive memories, and you have to go into this like hyperbaric chamber, like a water tank, and he's like a guide. It's sort of like a noir.
Yeah, I mean
it's almost like he's like a memory detective.
Right.
And he's got this like femme
that is very
fatale
Inception-y.
character. Yeah, that he's like she died or she disappeared. He was her love interest, and then I don't know, something happened.
It doesn't look bad, but it does look like well-trodden sci-fi territory.
Yes.
Even thematically, it's like we've been dealing with these themes for a while. But I'm a huge Hugh Jackman fan, or as who's the? Do you remember Wisecrack had the alien that would it was an alien, and the alien would review movies, but he would always present it as "I found this artifact."
No.
Well, but he always would get things wrong.
Okay.
And he shows a picture of Hugh Jackman, and he's like, "This is Jack Human," and he is a star. So Jack Human is. I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of. I have seen The Greatest Showman thrice on the big screen.
I like The Greatest Showman.
Love it.
And
she's in this. What's her name? Who plays the singer from?
Yeah. Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah,
is his love interest.
Yeah,
she's in the movie. I've seen The Greatest Showman, never front to back, but I've seen it. I think in its entirety, just over the course of like catching it on TV. I say I like it, but it seems like it's like a podcast that's on 1.5 speed. Like the plot, it's like, and now we're here, and now we're there, and they're like things just move really fast.
Oh yeah. It's also just full of bullshit. Because P.T. Barnum was just a nobody asshole. Like, and that whole like relationship with her, like they had a friendship, but there was nothing.
She was not really involved.
They're just making stuff out of fucking nowhere with that. And they really gloss over like using elephants and shit like that.
He was kind of a son of a bitch from what I've read, but Tom Thumb really loved him. Really loved him.
That movie also really made me love what's the handsome young fella?
Zac Efron.
Yes.
He's great.
The scene where him and
Zendaya,
and she's like,
oh my, I love that
flying
scene.
around.
So
you want to just watch it real quick?
Should we? My mom was watching it, and I came in at that scene, and it was like one of those things where I was like walking through the room just to pass, and stopped and was just standing there watching that amazing entire scene. 'Cause I loved that sequence so much. I was like, wow, this is great. The movie is not great, I don't think, but that scene is really cool. But I like the movie overall.
Yeah. You're listening to Hugh Jack Cast.
We love it. We love it.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is I will watch this movie just because I love me some fucking Hugh Jackman. He seems like such a real, genuine human being.
Well,
Don't cancel him for me.
Friend of the pod, but my friend Christina almost hit his daughter with her car. She didn't really. She saw her coming. But I don't know how old this girl is now, but she was young. She was like maybe 5 or 6 years old, and she was on a scooter, and she was like flying down the street and came to an intersection. This is in Manhattan, and like she saw her coming, so she was already slowing the car, like, okay, there's a little kid coming, like, I don't know. So she stopped the car. She didn't have to, but like she just stopped because she didn't want to hit this kid. And lo and behold, it comes flying after her as Hugh Jackman fully running after this girl, like catches her and like saw my friend driving, saw that she stopped deliberately, like not to hit her, and was just like, thank you so much, and like waving her on.
I would be
she was like,
you'd have to scrape my brains off of the roof of the car because my mind would be so blown.
Oh my God.
Because first it's a weird thing of a child coming towards me and stopping. And then the last thing I'm expecting is a Wolverine coming out and giving me a fucking thumbs up.
Wherever she worked, it was like, it must have been in the Village or something.
Maybe it was near Wolverbeans.
Maybe. Because she used to have like these encounters when she'd be driving home from work at night. Like she'd get out of work. Well, this wasn't at night, but it was just like she'd be driving home, and like one time Amy Poehler was like walking her dog, and she was very heavily pregnant, and my friend was like at a light and staring into space, and it looked like she was staring at Amy Poehler. So by the time she like, the light turned green, she snapped out of it. She saw that she was staring at Amy Poehler, and Amy Poehler was just like giving her the nastiest, meanest face, like, why are you staring at me, lady?
See, you wouldn't get that from Hugh Jackman.
Never.
He'd be like, hi, do you want some coffee?
He's a delight.
Would you want a dog cookie?
It's a goddamn delight. You should eat this dog food.
Yeah, you can eat it. You can have it.
I'll grab something right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Miami. It's set in Miami, which Hugh Jackman in Miami is not a pairing that I think of that comes to mind. But it's set in the future of Miami, and Miami is like underwater or like going underwater. It's sinking. It's like Venice.
There's a lot of interesting shots in the trailer of like a whole opera house underwater.
There's like a train that's on water, but sort of like Spirited Away, where the
Yeah,
train
the train
tracks
on
are just
water,
like in
yeah.
the water.
You're
There's a
reminding
lot
me
of
of interesting things. Yeah.
stuff. That reminds me of the movie Artificial Intelligence, like at the end of the movie when he goes to like sunken New York.
Yeah.
It looks like that. So I don't know.
I love that movie. I feel like people don't appreciate it as much as they should.
The movie made me cry so hard at the end.
I know.
The first time I saw it.
I cried at the beginning. Spoiler alerts, when the mother like tries to give him away or throw him away, and he's like, Mom, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know.
And then he's got that cool teddy bear who's like, David.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that movie.
What do you think?
But I also love Bicentennial Man. How about that?
The Pepsi girl.
Yeah. That was her big
That was like
chance.
she's gonna do it. But then her brother became a movie star.
Who's her brother?
Social Network. What's his face? Jesse Eisenberg. That's his sister.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Unless she just like F it, took off her wig and was like, "It's me, Jesse."
Wow.
They look alike. Once you see their faces, you're like,
yeah,
"Oh yeah."
You're like, I get it. Well, it's like what's the middle daughter from Modern Family?
Oh yeah,
her
Ariel Winter.
Yeah, her older brother was Pugsley.
Yeah. I love that stuff.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see this movie. It looks interesting.
It's gonna be on HBOMax.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? You know,
so
it is really
things, huh?
like WB. I mean, I know that they were pissed that HBOMax was doing the releases on the same day, and I would be too, because this is something I might have seen, and now I'm like, I'm not gonna see it. I'm just gonna watch it on HBOMax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely want to see Last Night in Soho in the theater.
Yeah.
All right, good. You want to take a break and come back with Chill Shush?
Let's do it.
Shush. Welcome back to PCMC. You said let's do it, so we're doing it.
Let's rock and roll.
This is the chill sesh. This is a sesh where we chill. Mm-hmm. Since it's been so long since we did a full episode, I've got so much on my mind.
Okay.
I had the new Ghostbusters cereal.
Oh.
Delicioso. Okay. It's got these red balls to invoke the red of the no sign, and they taste like berry. It kind of has a like, oops all berries vibe. But then there are marshmallow ghosts. And it's delicious.
Yeah.
So much better than the Ghostbusters cereal in the 80s.
What was it, green, right?
No, the one in the 80s was like...
What turned the milk green? Oh, am I thinking of like Reptar cereal from Rugrats?
You might be.
I might be thinking of something that's not real. All right.
The Ghostbusters cereal in the 80s was like... It had those like flavorless like wheat... Like kind of like Cheerios, but with like it was the no sign.
Oh, okay.
And then there was some ghost marshmallows, but this is just sweet, straight sugar rush.
Nice,
so fucking good.
I gotta get some fun cereal.
Yeah,
haven't had good like cereal time in the house lately.
Mm-hmm. I love a new cereal.
Boo. I gotta get down.
There's a Pokemon cereal now.
Oh yeah,
that looks really interesting. There's also a Sesame Street cereal.
That's cute.
I spent a lot of time looking at cereals.
Cereal aisle is the most fun aisle in the grocery store.
Always was, always will be.
Yeah.
What you been chilling with?
We've been catching up on the last season of Bob's Burgers. We finished that.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Tell me about Bob's Burgers fandom, because I watched I think I watched like the first 3 seasons, and then I kind of was like, I don't know, I kind of just fell right out of it.
It gets really strong. It stays strong. And then I would say this last season is the first season we were like, wow, it fell off a little bit. But there's still like a couple of strong episodes. And you know we're Simpsons super fans.
Yes.
It never ever reaches the heights that The Simpsons reaches in its early seasons.
Right.
But it has been consistently better for longer.
Interesting.
I would say that. Consistently better. Because Simpsons still had great episodes going up until like the 20th season. You could find like a really good episode. But it kind of
goes up and down.
Yeah. Whereas Bob's is pretty consistently like it's just solid. Mm-hmm. It's solid laughs. So we finished that. We did Castlevania.
I I watched season 1 of that. I really like Castlevania though.
Castlevania gets good. Like, gets better. I think. What would you say?
I just haven't picked it up again, but I remember really liking it.
They're pretty short. This was 10 episodes. We accidentally, I don't know what it is. I think this actually happened with one of the other seasons of Castlevania for us, but like we turned it off. But like if you didn't like go back to the home screen from Netflix, it would just keep playing. And so we picked it up again thinking we were on the next episode. We were like 2 episodes ahead and we're like, that's odd. They seem to like gloss over a bunch of information. They got to the end of the season and then realized we missed 2 episodes. So I had to go back. So I feel like we would have enjoyed it more if we'd watched it in the correct order, but it was good.
I've read whole books and then been like, oh, that was the 3rd in a series. God, that makes so much sense now.
Yeah. You know, funny. Like we really picked up on an episode where like someone was missing a limb, someone was dead.
You were like, this time jump is so interesting. Wow.
Nuts. Like they're just not going to mention this.
This is narratively brave.
Is this Stephen Moffat? Did you write this? Yeah. So that was funny. It was just like, okay. Well, I guess we're going back to episode 6.
Yeah. Well, so but you liked it even with fucking it up.
Yeah. I like the show.
I did that recently. We do that a lot with Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
Like we'll somehow fuck it up.
Jen, I bet she doesn't even notice.
No, she has no idea.
She can fill in that information on her own.
It's like time is a flat circle. Gilmore Girls is always all happening at the same time.
Yes, in her mind it all exists.
But I'll be like, wait, what happened? I missed something. Or like I think I missed something, but I didn't because the show will drop things and then pick up like 7 episodes later.
Oh, it's like a very old school series in that way.
Yeah.
Where there'll be like an arc that they get back to eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, in Gilmore Girls, there'll be like a fight between major characters at the end of an episode. And then like the next episode, you're like, we're going to talk about it?
Yeah.
Or, like,
we're fine.
Doesn't get to it until later. Let's talk about Cruella.
I didn't see it.
I saw it twice.
Okay. Well, sure, you bought it and now you have to watch it.
No, I saw it.
Oh, you don't get. Oh, you saw it in
theaters. I saw it twice in theaters.
Oh, good for you.
Twice in the theater.
Okay. I know I don't know if it's the opening scene, but I know the backstory. And I think it's the most ridiculous, funniest nonsense I've ever heard. And you would expect the movie to be bad based on that information.
Right.
I don't want to spoil it for anybody. It's just insane.
Well, we could say spoiler alert. Corella's mom is killed by Dalmatians. It's funny saying it out loud. When I watched it, I didn't have that reaction. Like saying it out loud makes it more ridiculous.
I didn't watch it, so just knowing the information as like written on the screen that I read, it's absolutely bananas. The
thing that's been bothering me is I feel like only some of the reviews seem to understand that it's like a reboot.
Yeah,
because a lot of people like some of the bad reviews are like I can't like this because this woman does eventually want to kill puppies.
Well, and it's like no, if it's a reboot.
Like no, it's not. Like there's a scene. She steals the spoiler alert for Cruella. She steals the villain's 3 Dalmatians. Because one of the Dalmatians swallows something that she needs, and she steals it to get it, and then she one of the thing that's beautiful about this movie is like the aesthetics and the fashion. It's all about like fashion. And so like the Baroness, who's the villain, is like very like it takes place in the 60s and 70s, which is really beautiful. The Baroness is like very sort of chic, but Cruella as a designer is like very punk. So like to fuck with the Baroness, she keeps showing up at the Baroness's events in like these crazy outfits and like stealing her thunder. And one of the last ones she does, she comes and she's wearing a Dalmatian jacket. But then we see the Dalmatians are alive.
They're fine.
Right. Like, and then another character, to me, it's like this was the scene that cemented this as a reboot. Because another character says, like, did you really kill those Dalmatians? She was like, no. But people need a villain to believe in. So they can believe I did. So to me, it's like, yeah, that's that. That's that moment. Also, in their crew, there's 2 dogs. So they go a long way to be like, no, she likes dogs.
She's fine. It's fine. She's nice.
It's almost like the 101 Dalmatians that that is some propaganda. And almost like what they did with Maleficent. Like, this is the real Cruella. You don't understand that this is the real Cruella.
Well, I was saying that to Anthony, but he said it really isn't like Maleficent. He said it's better than Maleficent, first of all. But also that, like... Like, I liked Maleficent. I thought it was just fine.
No, I like it too.
But
this is what I've wanted. This is
Okay.
what you should do with the live action stuff.
yeah, just go in a different direction,
Right.
sort of. So I was like, so is it? I was trying to just nail this thing down.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're going about it the wrong way. He's like, this is not like she's going to eventually kill the dog. So I was like, so then is it like a legend that they've corrupted?
Kinda.
He's like, not really. He's like, you just kind of have to accept it as a reboot. I was like, okay. As long as I go into it
I
with
feel
that
like it's
mindset.
kind of. I get what he's saying. I feel like it's kind of like a legend that's been corrupted. It's again only from that one scene where she's like, "I'll let people believe it
Okay.
because they need a villain to believe it."
Well, I mean, in the movie, she does also die because she gets run off a road.
yeah.
She does get engaged in multiple car accidents in
Yeah.
101 Dalmatians. We watched it pretty recently. And I was like, oh, she doesn't die. And then I was like, oh, no, wait, she does at the end.
Right,
She
right.
definitely dies.
Yeah.
So as long as she doesn't die at the end of this movie. Do you think they're keeping it open for a sequel? I mean, they did Maleficent too. I'm sure they
Yeah.
would do.
Well, it did well.
Yeah,
it did well,
it did very well.
and it got like 70-something% positive reviews. I hope so. I really liked it. I thought it was just candy. It was just cinematic candy.
I love that.
Yeah, it looks. It reminds me. It's not like this at all, but it reminds me of Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette.
Oh, yeah,
just like
sure.
it's candy.
It's
It's
just
just
outfit after outfit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's it. It's just like every outfit that Cruella wears is fucking amazing.
Awesome.
It's really good, and I think I sent you the TikTok of like the little boy who
Oh, my God, with the eye makeup.
with the makeup. His mom.
He's giddy. He is just...
I was like, Corella's gonna be the queer icon,
icon.
for this next generation. I could already see it.
awesome.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. It was just like, it's an incredible amount of fun. Is it, stupid? Yeah. Does it need to exist? Absolutely not. But if we're going to make these remakes, I'm glad that they finally got back to the Maleficent model of let's focus on something different. Let's do a different take on it. It's so much better than, Cruella, I think, has been the best of these. If you want to put it in the same categories like The Lion King and Aladdin and Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. This
I
has
like
been
The Jungle Book.
I haven't seen that one.
It's pretty good.
Well, that's Favreau, and that's why they gave him
they gave
Lion King. And Lion
yeah.
King just ended up being such a...
Yeah.
The word I always use to describe them is banal, because it's such a weird thing to like... They're like cover songs. They're not remakes. They're just like a cover. It's like, why am I even doing this? Why am I watching this? So this was, totally fun, and it's it's gorgeous to look at. The fashion's really good, and just the whole fashion angle I thought was a smart. There's some smart choices that they make.
They do that in the Glenn Close one.
She's a producer on this,
Is she?
but it might just be some old contractual thing
Oh, okay. Like
that happened when she did her movies.
Okay.
Like you have to make her infinitum always like you have to call her producer and everything
every time,
yeah.
you do something with Cruella. She's so married to the character.
Yeah. No, she was. Apparently, she was like.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
She's a good Cruella. I
Yeah.
liked her very much. Yeah, but that was also very fashion centric, and she was like she was kind of. I mean, from the trailers is all I know, but like she wore outfits that are very similar to the Baroness's outfits.
Yeah.
It looked like. It
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
in the movie. And Anita is a fashion designer in like her house of
Yeah.
fashion.
Yeah.
So
In this, Anita is a reporter,
okay.
and she's a woman of color. She's actually the woman that Chidi falls in love with when he comes back to Earth in, I think, season 3 of The Good Place.
Oh yeah.
And Roger is Nando the Relentless.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, whenever I hear him not doing that
voice.
I'm like, what is going on here? Yeah. So they find a way to put them in the movie, although I don't think they need to be in the movie
okay.
at all. Yeah, there's a few things that's like you put like her bad driving because she doesn't know how to
She's a
drive, so
terrible
she steals
driver.
a car in it. Her two bumbling like henchmen,
yeah.
or like a big they actually make them into good characters.
Okay, that's cool.
It's the director of I, Tonya.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, because you sort of look at like when you really look at Cruella de Vil and who she is supposed to be, a socialite who's the same age as Anita. Like
Right.
she
They went
seems
to
like an
school
old
together.
lady, but
Right.
Yeah.
It's because of the white hair.
Your old school chum, Cruella, is what they say. And it's wild. But you're sort of like, why does she have these henchmen if not to just steal the dogs? Like, who are these people?
Well, in this movie, after she loses her mother, she's a little street urchin child, and she meets these two boys that are already like pickpockets, and they like bring her into the gang, and they grow up together just being con artists.
Little Oliver Twists.
Yeah.
All right.
It's adorable, and like her name is Estella, but when she's a kid, like her mother calls her Cruella when she's being bad, because she's like she has a bad streak in her. So like she talks more normal when she's Estella, but then when she's like being Cruella, it's an affectation, which makes so much sense because it's just like there's even a scene where she's watching an old 50s movie and she sees someone like laugh like Cruella, and like you see her like take that. So it's all so performative, and to make the character, to say like what you know of the character is true, but that over the top performativity is happening on purpose. Okay, I think is really interesting.
That's cool.
I thought it was super fun. What the fuck else? I guess should I talk about the Harry Potter store? That was a whole event.
That was a whole thing.
Harry Potter New York, which is what it's called, which is like it could be a better name than that.
Sure.
It could be called Wizarding something. It's called Harry Potter New York. The first Harry Potter flagship store in New York on Broadway, kinda. It's on Broadway, but way fucking down. And it's like a block away from the Flatiron Building.
Okay.
Jen, she is a huge Potterhead, and she, she was like, we got to go the opening day. And so we took off work. And it was pouring raining that morning. So we knew that they opened at 10. So we got there, we get there super early, but we didn't. We ended up getting there like around 9:30. Line wrapped around the block. So we were like, fuck, this is a ton of people all out in the rain. And people are dressed up and shit. But then the line starts moving, and we're like, wow, this is moving fast. And then we find out that the line is actually not to get in. It is to get a QR code. And then when you get the QR code on your phone, you're in a virtual queue. Kind of like the new Star Wars ride at Hollywood Studios. And then, like, you can go do whatever. And then when it says it's your time to come, you come back. So we were like, the first estimate, but it's very buggy because it's like the number keeps going up and down. It tells you how many people are ahead of you, but like the estimate of how long it's going to take keeps changing. So originally it said 4 hours. So I was like, all right, well, I guess we'll eat. We'll go see a movie. We went to the Angelica and saw Dream Horse. I thought it was very good.
What is Dream Horse?
It's Toni Collette, and it's this true story of this like little Welsh town where like they're really economically hit, and they all together become a syndicate and pay a little bit of money and buy a racehorse, or breed a racehorse, and then like the racehorse actually does well and it makes them money, and it's supposedly a true story.
Interesting.
Anyway, we watched 99% of it. We watched the climax, but we missed the denouement because we got a thing that said 20 minutes to your thing. So we run back to part of town. We take an Uber back to the part of town where Harry Potter is. Jumps back up to 3 more hours.
No.
So then we're like, fuck. So then we go to Barnes & Noble, get some coffee. Now my phone is the phone that has the code. And I tried to share with her and I couldn't. My phone is running out of battery.
No.
And we don't know when this is going to happen. So Jen's like, see if you can buy a portable charger, like that comes with a charge. I went to 8 stores. I was sweating my ass off. I did so much running around the city yesterday, just looking for a thing that doesn't exist. And then finally I went to a CVS, and they were like, we don't have it. And I was like, do you have an outlet? And she was like, technically no. But in the back, there's a little where you go wait after your COVID shot for 15 minutes, see if you'll explode. She was like, back there are seats. There's some outlets there. So I bought a charger. And by the way, I haven't seen Jen in an hour. She's just hanging out alone by the Harry Potter store. And I don't want to text her. She don't want to text me because
I'm gonna waste the phone battery.
Exactly. So I buy a charger. I take it out and I go into the back, the little area. No one else is there. I plug it in and I start charging my phone. And then I text her. I'm like, I am at a CVS many blocks away. Are you okay? And she was like, there is a man playing barefoot in a puddle, but he is not bothering me. I said, okay, when I get a good amount of charge, I'm going to come back. Long story short, too late. We don't get in till like 7 o'clock at night. We finally get in, and it's cool. It's beautiful inside. There's 2 floors. There are different sections. There's a wand section. There's a candy store. There's a butterbeer bar. There is a little like, there's a lot of high-end stuff, like a lot of like high price point stuff. There's like a little like art studio that like has like really expensive shit. There's a whole little customizable place where you could get your wand or your robe customized. So they've got a lot of shit in all sorts of price points. Like upstairs, you can get like a $20 sort of Gryffindor toy, or you go downstairs and buy like $1,000 sort of Gryffindor like replica. I really wanted the Lucius Malfoy walking stick, but it was sold out. So
if you can believe it,
yeah, and it was just it was a lot of fun. And then fucking I went home and died. It was longer than work would have been.
Yeah,
it was a long ass day, and we actually got you a treat.
Oh my god.
But you're not gonna get it until tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Because Jen should present. Because Jen paid for it, so she should present it to you.
Oh, thank you guys. I'm so excited.
Yeah. She kept being like, "What house are they in?" And I was like, "I don't know what you mean."
She just texted
They
me.
live in Staten Island.
Our house is in Staten Island.
I was like, I don't know what you're talking about houses.
Bill's is Ravenclaw. I'm Gryffindor.
These are your official Pottermore.
These are our official Pottermore houses.
I see. What am I? I think I'm also Ravenclaw.
Yeah, I can see that.
Makes sense.
Brainiac over here.
Well, I also believe that if I were in Divergent, I'd be an erudite. I guess the other thing that I'm doing is I'm playing Resident Evil Village.
You sent me the jump scare thing.
Oh my god. There is.
Go over here and solve this problem. Whoops, there's something to scare you.
Yeah, I fell for it so hard.
Did you look it up because you fell for it?
Yeah,
so hard
I was
and
like,
you were like, I can't be alone.
Yeah, well, it's become like a famous moment. It's like the standout moment of this game. There's a spoiler alert for Resident Evil Village.
Wait, this is just the spoiler alert episode.
I know. By the way, I haven't played. The last Resident Evil game I played was 3, and that was like 1999. I have been out of this series for a long time.
What brought you back in? Was it Lady Dimitrescu?
We'll get to her. No, it was the fact that the aesthetic of it is like Romanian village, because it's called like village and there's castles.
Yeah. Well,
By
they
the way,
went village in another game.
Maybe. I haven't played
4.
this.
Okay, 4.
I haven't played this series in so long. This game, Village, is actually 7 part 2. It's part 7 part 2. It's the second
they're doing
part.
Final Fantasy nonsense now.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
it's insane. And by the way, nary a zombie.
What are these things?
Vampires, werewolves, and cyborgs is what you're fighting in Village.
I didn't think that was going to be number 3.
Yeah, me neither. And creepy dolls. Oh, it's so weird. But anyway, there's a scene in it where you go into this little house, and there's a 3-digit locked thing that is going to be something in there that you need because there's puzzles. And and then you pick up a picture, and the picture already is unsettling. It can't really tell what it is. It looks like someone in an Iron Maiden, but I don't even know. It's black and white. It's disturbing. And then you turn it around, and it says, "Look out the window." So I'm like, this is going to be a thing. I'm not that dumb. So I look out the window, and nothing happens. But I realize I wasn't close enough. So I think something might happen, right? Because I'm like, yeah, gonna get me. So I go outside to look if there is something outside the window, and there isn't.
Oh.
Because it's in the fucking code to fucking
Right, to
it
not
doesn't
be there.
spawn until you do it.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, now I feel like I beat it, or there isn't really going to be a scare. So now I walk all the way up to the window, because when you look out the window, you can see the code in the back. Like there's an 07 on the wall, and then 04.
Like, it looks like with the window panes, you really can't see it unless you're like at an angle.
Right, and then you can see
You have to
the
be
6-digit
close
code
enough to see it. Yeah,
and then of course From underneath the window, a werewolf man jumps up.
Jumps right up in the window.
I legitimately screamed at the top of my lungs. And it was like a scream followed by a fuck you. How dare you? That guy was not outside when I looked a second ago. I just checked. That guy did not spawn until I was standing in that spot. But you know what?
Then the thing attacks you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Then you got to kill it.
You got to kill it real fast.
You got to jump into it. You're like, oh, what am I doing? You got to find your bearings.
I love the people, because then you sent me this compilation of streamers reacting to this jump scare. And, like, I love the cultural, like, the cross-cultural ways. Like, the Japanese streamers, it was, like, very quiet, like, intensity. And then, like a real high-pitched scream. Yeah. The French lady started cursing, and then she's like, pardon. Like, it's so cute. But, like, I love the people who just, in their fright, start shooting. Like, shooting through the wall.
Those are the people that are going to survive.
I guess so.
It's I like horror games. I play a lot of horror games. It really is the scariest game I've played, maybe ever. Wow. It's really scary.
Really scary. Okay.
And there's so another reason why this game is getting a lot of press.
What I know of it is
it's a I don't know how to say the word. Dim.
It looks like it's Dimitrescu, but I don't know if that's true.
I think that's how you say
I've only ever read it. It just keeps coming up on my YouTube suggested, and I'm like, I don't play this game, but I just see this.
Yeah.
It is a really unsettling camera angle, like this famous picture of her, right? Where she's like, it's sort of like looking up into the camera with a big, very unnatural, scary looking smile. And the largest breasts I've ever seen.
Well, Lady...
And she's like 9 feet tall.
Lady D. First of all, there's the first like big thing in the game is the castle. Okay. Which is super goth. It's like looks like Dracula's castle. It's great, and it makes sense because she's a vampire, and she's a vampire, and she has 3 vampire daughters.
And she's dressed like Kate Winslet from Titanic.
Right. She's got like
except it's extremely low cut.
But she's 10 feet tall. So
she is 10 feet.
Yeah. So she's like. It's
that's so creepy.
Apparently, it's based on some mythology, but I'm not familiar with it. I've never heard of this idea of actually being larger as a vampire. Yeah. But she's a giant woman, and the pervs on the internet, from the trailer on, like every comment's like, she can fucking step on me. People want her to step on
my neck, Lady D.
I am not I'm not a kink shamer. But this is not my kink, so I was.
This is hysterical.
All of this I could not. It was not my reaction, but people really want her to fucking step on them. This giant lady.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, Resident Evil Village, go for the giant lady.
Go for the giant lady. Stay for the scary game.
Yeah, stay for the scary game.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's everything I've been doing.
All right. Well, that's fun. I would say the one thing that we've been up to is we started showing Henry, like every Friday night we're doing a movie with him.
I thought you were about to say every Friday the 13th film.
Every Friday the 13th with Henry.
He is too young for that.
He's not sleeping well.
No.
At all. No, we started doing the animated movies, the Disney animated movies. Good. So we did Snow White a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
A little scary for him.
It is a little scary.
The sequence where she turns into a witch was
scary.
Intense.
I remember watching that in the theater and like jumping because like
there's a jump scare. She puts her like cloak
it
up.
Zooms
and
in on her.
Yeah, it's like really kind of scary. So I was watching him watch it, and he was really engrossed. And he's only 2. He's going to be 3 this summer, so he's very small. And I didn't expect a ton of attending skills from him at this point, but he was engrossed in it. He really loves it. And at that point, he likes spooky things. So I was like, okay, there's a spooky witch in it. And he was like, "Oh, a spooky witch!" Like that was exciting to him.
You think he'll like Lady D?
I don't know. He might. But he'd probably be afraid she would step on him.
Okay.
So at that point, when she's doing the transformation scene, he got up from the couch and like moved to the middle of the living room and was standing staring at that scene. And then when that jump scare happens, he like ran and hid under my arm.
Wow.
I was like, it's a little scary. He was like, yeah, it's a little
very
spooky.
scary. That's why the original Disneyland ride was scary.
It's a scary one.
And,
it's a dark ride.
People complained, and then they changed the name to Snow White's Scary Adventures to be like, hey man, this is scary.
It's a scary witch. She's out to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we did Pinocchio last week.
Oh.
Very
There's also some disturbing shit in that.
Very disturbing, yeah. It's weaker. It feels like in rewatching it, I'm like, oh, okay. It's a narratively weaker movie than Snow White is.
Yeah.
Snow White's very strong still, I would say. Pinocchio has a lot of really beautifully animated sequences.
Yeah.
But it feels like a collection of short stories, which
Right.
I think Pinocchio is.
Right.
I think it's...
Well, Pinocchio is just wild.
It's a weird
There's murder
thing.
and all sorts of crazy shit in the real story.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those tales that they base it on, but yeah, it just feels narratively
Bambi's that way, too.
disjointed. Yes, yeah,
Bambi's literally just 4 seasons. I also feel like a lot of those early Disney films, they didn't know how to end them. They were like SNL sketches. Right? We were talking about Dumbo before. It's just kind of like, all right,
ends.
it's done.
And now he flies. There it is. Because we did Dumbo today.
Yeah.
So it's very fresh.
Winnie the Pooh, like in the original Winnie the Pooh movie, again, it's just like episodic. There's just like these little sections in it.
Well, then it makes sense because then they just did anthologies for like the whole 1940s and most of the 1950s. Because then it was like Saludos Amigos, Make Mine Music,
Right. Fun and Fancy Free.
Yeah. Which is only 2. It's not even like it's just 2.
But there is a wraparound of Jiminy Cricket telling stories.
Yeah, but then Jiminy Cricket goes away for the last one, and Ed Bergen, I think Ed Bergen is his name.
Yeah.
Shows up, and it's a live action party.
But he's the voice of Jiminy Cricket.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But he's also in the room. Like Jiminy Cricket's still there.
Oh, okay.
But he's not. He's like in the background.
For some reason, it was cheaper. I don't know how that. You're still making a movie. I don't know how it's cheaper, but it was cheaper.
I mean, I believe it. It's just odd. The thing that's the most odd about Fun and Fancy Free, which we've been watching a lot lately because we're just the Jack and the Beanstalk segment.
It's one of the really best Mickeys.
Fantastic Mickey. And it's like been incorporated into the Mickey lore. Like he's like
that
Willie's
giant
in
has appeared
Clubhouse.
in
Like
different
he's
stuff.
around.
Yeah.
It holds up. It's great. But the very unsettling thing is you realize this adult man is at a party, and I'm using air quotes because it looks like it was like a New Year's party or something. There's like
Who knows?
noisemakers and stuff, but no one else is there.
Yeah.
It's nighttime. He's there with a little girl who is not his daughter, who keeps calling him Mr. Bergen. And
it's not his daughter? I thought it was.
No, she calls him Mr. Bergen. She's like, "You're such a great storyteller, Mr. Bergen." And I'm like, "Ooh, danger. Get out of there."
Right.
And 2 ventriloquist dummies. So it appears
He
like
was a ventriloquist.
Right. It's clear that it's him. It seems like it's a room full of people. It's just him and this little girl and 2 ventriloquist dummies.
I thought it
and
was
that's
Candace
the party.
Bergen. I thought it was his
It's
daughter.
not Candace. Oh no, it's not Candace Bergen. It's she. So I looked this up. It's the actress who is right. So this guy is Candace Bergen's father.
Yeah.
Side note. It's a little girl. She looks like she could be a young Candace Bergen, but it's not. She is the star of Song of the South. With Bobby Driscoll, who was also in everything back then, and
wasn't he?
He's the model for Peter Pan. He's the voice of Peter Pan, and he was also in a movie called So Dear to My Heart.
But wasn't he also Davy Crockett or like young Davy Crockett?
He might have been young Davy Crockett. Yeah, he looks like Peter Pan.
Walt Disney was all in on Bobby Driscoll.
He was all in on Bobby Driscoll.
Yeah.
So Dear to My Heart was supposed to be their first live action movie.
Uh-huh.
But he was convinced by, I don't know who, producers maybe, to include some animation because they didn't want it to be like too off the Disney brand.
Yeah.
But really it was just like a straightforward, like this is a farm tale about a farm. And like those were the 2 stars of the movie. They also starred in Song of the South. And they did like,
which also has live action.
They do a lot of hybrids around this time period for Disney. A lot of hybrids. Like Fantasia's a hybrid.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah. So I became like a mini Disney historian of this era in particular because I was so disturbed by this weird party.
It's a very interesting era.
Yeah.
Because Walt is interested in Disneyland more than anything else.
Yeah.
So the studio is just kind of going. A lot of the effort of the studio is going towards making propaganda films for the army. And then like the rest is just cobbling together these little
movies, these features
movies.
that they can sell.
Like the 3 what do you call it?
3 Caballeros.
Yeah. That movie makes no sense at all. Like it starts with a penguin cartoon, and then like there's that cartoon, and then there's live action. dance. It's just like, this does not hold together at all.
No, it's so weird. It's like they cobbled things. And they're like, what do we have?
Right.
What can we put together and make a movie? Like something feature length.
Yeah, a lot of those were things that like were going to be feature length, but they just couldn't get a handle on it. Like Mr. Toad and Ichabod.
Yeah, that's
is another one.
That's another one. But that one I think has stood the test of time.
It kind of holds together because it's two. They're kind of both of equal quality.
They feel vaguely like
literary.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like that's kind of what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That's the conceit to put these things together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're both kind of dark.
Yes.
Have you seen Rescuers?
I have. The original.
The original script had Cruella as the villain.
I can see that.
They wanted to keep doing Cruella, and for some reason they didn't. But the woman...
What's her name? Madam something?
Yeah, she ends up being a Cruella like wannabe.
Yeah.
They should have just went and made it Cruella.
Yeah, I could see that being Cruella. For sure.
Yeah. I don't know why I just ran out of steam. I don't know what happened. Are we still doing a podcast?
We're doing it.
All right, do you want to take a break and come back with Obsessions?
Let's do it.
Okay. Welcome back to PCMC. I'm Mike Bongiorno. I'm joined by Janine Gagliardi.
Hi.
Oh boy, we've had a fun day.
What you couldn't hear is, because I wasn't allowed to eat on the podcast,
right,
is that like a pint of mint chocolate chip ice cream is just downed. It's gone now.
This is Obsessions. This is where we talk about the thing that we are currently most interested in, the thing that we are most obsessed with. For me, I find Obsessions ends up being the thing that I like YouTube around. Like if I'm into something at a moment, I'll be like, I'm gonna YouTube videos on people talking about this and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And my thing is a YouTube thing today too. But I want to know your obsession first.
Oh God. It's not a true obsession. What I've really been
Goodbye,
watching.
folks. Thanks for being here.
So long. That's the end of the episode. That's the end of the show.
And then they never made another episode.
That's it. So what I really watch YouTube videos of lately is cottagecore TikTok compilations, because I don't have TikTok. I'm not putting it on my phone. I just don't want another thing on my phone.
Sure.
So I watch compilations because they make them for the olds, you know?
But explain to me what this is, because I've heard the term cottagecore.
Cottagecore? It became really, really popular during the pandemic. It's an aesthetic style. Okay.
See, I hear it related a lot with Animal Crossing.
I could see that. It's a cottagecore video game. It's like cozy, comforting, extremely pleasant.
So it's like a design style, like an aesthetic.
It is an aesthetic design style. In fact, the word aesthetic has become like shorthand for like this type of design style. Have you heard the kids today?
They use the word aesthetic incorrectly a lot.
Like I've heard a kid say like all my vinyls because I'm such an aesthetic. I'm like, what?
No.
What the hell are you talking about? It's like you like vinyl. Oh, because you like the vintage aesthetic.
Right.
You are not an
single aesthetic.
You are
and you are certainly not it.
No, you are not. But there is a word for someone who mimics a certain style or
Right. Will you say it again? An
aesthete.
Right. That's what
you are.
Zack Snyder is.
Yeah, I would say that.
Not a director. Not a filmmaker, not an artist. An aesthete.
The aesthetic. So the word aesthetic has kind of been corrupted a little bit. It's fine. As Anthony would say, he's not
prescriptive.
He's not a prescriptive grammarist.
He's descriptive.
Right. As the language changes, the word meaning changes as well. So that's fine. In any event, it is a design style. It's like farms, pastoral, like cottages. I mean, that's why it's called cottagecore. Like you're talking like thatched roof fairy tale cottages.
Okay.
People are like baking things. They're making syrups out of wildflowers that they find.
So when you're looking things up, like what are you seeing?
You're seeing like really pretty like Terrence Malick-esque images of like countryside, right?
Okay.
Or then it shifts to like a TikTok of a girl like saying like I picked these strawberries this morning, and it also has like an ASMR quality to it, which is why I think it showed up on my like suggested YouTube stuff originally. And then I just got into it and I was just looking up cottagecore compilations. So like you'll watch like a very short video of a girl making like strawberry jam or like a cake or, you know, something.
Aesthetic's so weird because aesthetic, it seems to like so easily, or maybe I don't know if it always was or it's just nowadays, but it seems to so easily then become a lifestyle brand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And people are selling cottagecore everything. Right. Like those red cap mushrooms, you know, that like that image, that's a big cottagecore thing, like little mushrooms. There's also like offshoots. I feel like cottagecore is the first one. Maybe it isn't, but it's the one that sort of blew up. It was like all over, like even like Today and Good Morning America had things on cottagecore.
But the suffix core has been used forever as
like normcore.
Yeah.
Normcore is the one I remember. Like dadcore.
Yeah.
So cottagecore came up, but then there's offshoots. There's goblincore.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't know too much about this. I just know it's like
I'm Googling this immediately.
It's cottagecore, but they're more into like moss and dirt and mushrooms. Like I think foraging is an aspect of it. There's cabin core, which is like my aesthetic, 100%. Like I aspire to that lifestyle. Like I want to go live in a cabin somewhere. There's academia core, which is also a gorgeous aesthetic that I love. It's like libraries, cardigans, you know, leather messenger bags.
I get it.
There's dark academia, which is like haunted libraries. It's very interesting. Then
Fun.
there's royalty core, which is kind of like, I would say like a Bridgerton or Marie Antoinette type aesthetic. And then there's dark royalty core, which is like now that I started getting into the cottagecore stuff, all this other stuff comes up.
I love things like that, by the way. Like a lot of people know kawaii and that aesthetic of like cuteness, and typically Japanese young women do it. But I forget exactly what it's called in Japanese, but there's like a dark kawaii where it's like cute baby doll dresses, but they're black,
right?
And like white makeup and like Hello Kitty, but Hello Kitty has blood in his mouth.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
No. Yeah, there's also like the goth Lolita culture in Japan.
Yeah,
that's sort of similar.
I follow on Instagram. I think they're called like Disney goths.
Oh, cute.
And it's like goths, but like they wear a lot of Disney inspired things. They take a lot of images of themselves in Disney World. A lot of Mickey Halloween stuff.
That's cute. I like that. Yeah, dark like playlists will come up.
Yeah.
Like music playlists that people make. Dark Royalty Core keeps coming up with music playlists because it'll be like waltzes.
Yeah.
And it'll be like playlists for waltzing with your enemy. And I'm like, what is this?
That is specific. See,
so
I
fun.
actually love this because I love aesthetics and I love art and I love thinking this way. And I kind of love that, whether they're using the word the way I would want them to use it or not, I love that young people, it's sort of like, here we go, I'm going to say postmodern and everyone's going to turn it off. But it's sort of like a good next step of postmodern, which is you've got this young generation now that is super visually literate. There's an insane visual literacy that these kids have, and they're super attuned to aesthetics and styles and visualizations, and I love that. I feel like that's such a cool thing.
Yeah, I do too. I feel like growing up, I would often categorize things as like, okay, well, this goes over there in my mind, and this goes over there in my mind, and I look at some of these things and I'm like, I used to make these columns in my journals where I'm like, well, this is fairy princess, but this is like I remember I had categories that are very similar. Like this is a cottagey type of. I remember one year I was like really into like witch movies. Like I feel like Sabrina the Teenage Witch came out around the same time as Practical Magic, and like all these different witchy things. Right. But I was like, but they're not the same. I'm like, they're different. I didn't know what the word aesthetic was, but I'm like, the looks are different. So like this is this type of witch, and that's that type of witch, and this is what I would journal about.
Sounds amazing.
I had a lot of suitors.
I could tell.
And just, my social calendar was jam-packed.
Yeah, I'm looking up Goblin Core, and there's a lot of like little green men and stuff. And Baby Yoda somehow makes his way into it.
Okay, that's interesting.
Well,
oh my God. That's from Mandy, though. That cheddar goblin, I see.
That's from Mandy?
Yeah.
I have not seen Mandy.
Yeah, it's a wild ride. It's a wild ride. I feel like I was not on drugs, so I don't know that I got what I was supposed to get out of it, but people love it.
Okay.
I have nothing bad to say about it. It's just it's a wild ride.
Sure. It's a Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that's
really
what I
cool.
actually watch on YouTube. I would say my thing that I talk to with other parents about is Bluey season 2.
What's Bluey?
Bluey is an amazing animated series out of Australia from Ludo Studios. It's a story of a blue heeler, Australian blue heeler. It's a type of dog. Family. 2 little girl puppies and their parents. And it's like short 7-minute episodes of their life. And it's about imaginative play. And it's
Where do you find such?
it's on Disney Plus. Season 2 just became available on Disney Plus, and it was like parent magazines would be like, "When is season 2 coming to Disney Plus?" Vulture just ran an article about how it's the best children's show on television now.
Wow!
And compared it to watershed moments in children's programming similar to Mr. Rogers and Sesame Street. Like they put it up that high, and I would put it there too. It is not didactic in the sense where it's like we're going to teach like a moral lesson to a child. Not in that way at all. It's really more, it's about play. It's about how play is important, how kids should be kids. And essentially like parents need to engage with kids on that level. And it's
I like
very,
the look of it.
very funny. And it's really watchable for parents and kids. So like, in the Vulture article, they're saying like my kids were laughing like crazy at this episode because it was so silly and funny. And meanwhile, I found myself like on the verge of tears because like you're watching parents who are really, really good at playing with their kids, but also seeing their own struggles. And like the kids watching the show, like my child wouldn't necessarily notice that, but you're supposed to notice that if you're watching along with them. Like these are not accidents. Like there's an episode, I actually haven't even watched it yet. It was in this Vulture article where it's called Granddad, and they're spending time with the mother's dad. And they're like, I don't know what they're doing in the episode, but basically like she's telling them why it's so important to take care of their bodies and like, you can't eat junk all the time. You got to run around every so often. And then ends up being a story about her anxiety about her aging parent. And it's a 7-minute kids cartoon.
Wow.
So it's very, very good. So there's sometimes I'll be watching an episode and I'll be like, I have to show Bill later because this made me laugh out loud like multiple times. It's extremely funny. Yeah. And it's just, it's a very, very good show. And every other parent that I've ever encountered whose kid watches Bluey, they're like, oh my God, I love Bluey so much. We got to watch Bluey.
I have to check it out. It looks really interesting.
It's a good one. It's short. It's easily digestible. It is a children's show. Like it definitely feels like a kid's show, but it's very watchable.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. And now it's on Disney Plus, and I'm so excited to get. I've just been savoring the little
Have
episodes.
you seen any of that new like Adventure Time spinoff?
I haven't seen any of it.
I'm interested in like what it is because I think it's on HBOMax.
Yeah, it's 4 movies.
Oh, okay.
Well, movies. They're like an hour long, I think. And I think the 4th one hasn't even come out yet.
I think he's like a little older now.
He's older.
Yeah.
One of them, he's dead. Like it starts with his death, so it's not even a spoiler. It's like he's dead in this one.
Whoa.
He's old. He's done. It's like his finale. It's interesting. I'm dying to see that one too because apparently it's fantastic. It's like the send off this character deserves.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a BMO one.
I bring that up only because I started watching it and then we kind of slowed down a little bit. But I feel like that's a show that is good at straddling the line between a kid show and not.
It also, I think, grew with its audience. Much like the Harry Potter series, like if you were, 11 when you started it, you were 18 when you finished it.
Right.
Adventure Time's the same way. Jeremy Shada, the kid who voices Finn, started off as a little kid and his voice is really young, and then eventually he's like a 20-year-old at the end of it.
Yeah.
So, and he sounds like it, and it's still a kid's show and it's fun and kids can watch it, but thematically I think they get into deeper territory as the show progresses.
Okay.
Steven Universe is similar, like just
Yeah.
they start off with the fun stuff and then it gets more and more interesting and involved as it continues.
Cool. Well, I'll check out Bluey. That sounds really
Bluey.
awesome. That sounds great. So my obsession is a YouTube channel, and it's funny. It's one that kind of is over.
Okay.
They're still doing things, but like literally, like one of the last videos was 10 months ago, and it's called "Why I'm Slowing Down," and it's the creator of the channel basically being like, "I'm going to do less of this now."
Okay.
So it's called The Art Assignment. And it's created by Sarah Ursett Green, who is a very funny, charming YouTuber. She is a artist and an art historian, and she's not defined by this, but as a nerd, I can't help but also mention she's John Green's wife.
Oh, okay.
And PBS helped produce these YouTube videos, but it's a YouTube channel, and it's called The Art Assignment because originally it was all these assignments. It was all like these videos, like try this, do this. But then they started branching out to other things, and they've got like this series called The Case For, like the case for video games, the case for impressionism, the case for video art, the case for realism, the case for nudity, the case for Andy Warhol, the case for Yoko Ono. And then there's another thing where it's cooking, where she'll make a recipe inspired by an artist's work. So it's basically just a look at art history and art, but in a very very cool conversational way. And it's very much like art is this big idea that seems like out of the reach of the average normal person, and like it doesn't have to be. Like art could just be, art is a part of your normal visual life whether you're aware of it or not. And so it's just kind of that. And I went to the MoMA recently, and since then I've been like looking at art stuff more. So I found this channel, and it's just like, if you're interested in art, or if you just like want to know more about art and different artistic movements and stuff, The Art Assignment is a really cool channel. I've kind of been watching all the videos, and I'm kind of working my way through it, which I do now and again with a YouTube channel. Yeah,
if I really like the stuff, I found a few. I mean, I love ASMR artists.
Yeah.
But I'll do that. Like if I subscribe to an ASMR artist, then I just go through the backlog and see what's up.
Yeah.
See what they have.
It's similar to the way I consume podcasts.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Go back and see what episode strikes your fancy.
I just started listening to the New Yorker Poetry Podcast, and their episodes are nice 20-minute chunks, and it's always a poet, and the poet first will pick a poem from anything from the New Yorker archive. So like I just listened to an episode where it was a contemporary poet picked a Sylvia Plath poem.
Cool.
And then they talk about it and they kind of break it down in a fun way, and then it ends with that poet also reading their own poem.
Oh, cool.
I just listened to an episode with Margaret Atwood, who's great because she's so old and she has no fucks to give anymore. And the host is like, so like, what do you think about, like, what were you thinking? And she's like, I wasn't thinking anything. Like, she just shuts down his shit. It's just fantastic. So yeah. So anyway,
you might like the. I recommend this to your brother a lot, actually.
Then I don't want it.
Okay, fine. That's always you too. The classic. I listen to this podcast called Poetry Unbound. It's from On Being Studios. On Being has like a bunch of podcasts, but I love it. They're really short. They're like 12 minutes long typically.
Yeah.
And the poems are read by this guy named Padre Gotuma. And he's this Irish gentleman with the absolutely loveliest Irish lilt to his voice.
Some people are born to read poetry out loud.
Really born to read poetry. So he reads the poem. And then
I just subscribed to it.
It's wonderful. I love it. The last couple of poems he did floored me. They were absolutely gorgeous poems. So he reads the poem and then he sort of talks about it and analyzes it for a few minutes, and then he reads the poem again.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
you
love
come
that.
back to it with that new lens.
Cool.
And it always changes my perspective on it.
To
now
hear
that
it the
I'm
second
thinking-
time.
To hear it the second time. Yeah. And it's one of those things where I think Anthony was talking about it, where I'm also not a good art viewer in a museum.
Right. Neither am I.
I loved I had it like one assignment in college, but I wasn't an art student, so it was really just like a passing thing as part of like the liberal arts education. But we did it in high school too, where like the assignment was basically you have to go to a museum and just look at one painting for like a half hour or something crazy. It's like some long period of time, and really look at it and like take it in. And I get antsy. Like I want to see all the other stuff in the museum, but with the poem, like you're really supposed to approach it that way as well, where you're really like taking apart.
Right, you have to let it digest. Mm-hmm. You have to let it digest. Yeah, Anthony just published a short fiction piece in response to Goya's Jupiter.
I think it's Saturn eating his children.
So yeah. And from that, I've gotten into Goya recently. Because, like...
His stuff is horrific.
Yeah, well, like, there was, like, a normal time for him, and then there was, like, what they call the black period, or which is him insane, just... Like, that painting, he did that on his wall in his kitchen. Like, no one was meant to see that. Like...
That was just for his breakfast table.
He just lost his goddamn mind.
It's the most insane, wildest eyes.
Yeah.
It's so scary. It's such a scary painting. That was actually an art assignment in high school, and my art assignment was that painting. And I was like, why would you do this to me?
I just sent Anthony... This is another video. This isn't from art assignment, but it's a really good video. And it's called The Scariest Painting, and it's about the history of that painting. It's so good, and like why it's so upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
But go see Cruella. That if you love art, that's the fucking movie.
That's the movie to see.
All right, I think we did it.
I think we're fashion boys and fashion girls tonight.
Yep.
Wait, you just finished telling me about all the fantastic designs, beautiful gowns in Cruella.
Gowns. Janine, thank you for coming on and bringing your...
Really tonight, like chaotic energy.
Bringing your chaotic energy. Well, I think that's what happens when you don't do a certain kind of episode for a while.
I know, we gotta rein it in. We gotta figure out how to do these again.
It's fine, we did it. I'm Mike Buongiorno. You are Janine Gagliardi.
Thank you for having me.
We come out every Wednesday. If you're new to this show, go up on the feed and look at the starter pack episode. I think it's a really good... It's designed to be a starting point. Also, I would go and look at the episode titles and see if any of the films, books, video games, or whatever are things that you're interested in, and give it a listen. I'm sure there's something you'll like. We end every episode by quoting the great Animal.
Go bye-bye.